is up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Otherwise with Jane Harvey with your host, JH. I am back from a camp trip. I pre-recorded some videos before we left. We actually went to the Sawtooth Mountains for the last 4 days, which was it was like that. The Sawtooth mountain range is one of the prettiest mountain ranges I've ever seen, and I've traveled a fair amount in the world. And if you have an opportunity to come to Idaho, I can't recommend it more strongly. The lakes that they have there are crystal clear and so just cooling, blue, green, gorgeous, rocky bottoms. And a dip in that lake is like a baptism. It's like a soul cleanse. It's incredible. And we went for 4 days and stargazed and hiked and drew and played chess and unplugged and sat by fires and ate good food. And it was perfect. So I'm back now feeling much rejuvenated. I taught again this morning at one of my studios here in Boise, Lotus Yoga, if you're in the area. And it was a joy to be back and to teach again with that renewed sense of vigor and enthusiasm. And now I have a video that I'm super excited to make for you. This one came spontaneously. I generally pre-consider my content, but I was on the phone with a friend last night and we had a really interesting conversation, and I've got to share it with you. It was really cool. So essentially how it went down was like this. A friend of mine called me last night because she was feeling overwhelmed by the things that have been going on in her life for, let's say, a couple of years. Situations, careers, choices, and just that sense of like, hang on a sec, what's happening? Where are things going? What's the trajectory here? You know, it's, I think, especially easy in our 20s to maybe not worry about that so much and follow that sort of will-o'-the-wisp vibe of just being pushed by the currents of our interests and our passions and our heartbreaks and our excitement, and living a bit more right in front of our face and in the moment. And obviously that's not true of everyone, but I think it's fair to say the 20s are a little bit of a what the heck is going on, who even cares decade. And then you get into your 30s, where I am now, and my good friend also is, and you start to think, wait, what are the choices that I'm making now creating for the life ahead? How is what I'm doing right now going to look, feel, taste, sound in 3 years, in 5 years, in 1 year? Time shifts and it changes, and you start to become more aware of your choices. Now, if you're not in a situation that makes you happy, say you find yourself in your 30s, as my friend has found herself, at a job where you're dissatisfied, you don't feel represented or fulfilled or seen or utilized in the way that you know you want to be. Or maybe you're also a parent and you are exhausted from the challenges of raising children and navigating the changes in your marriage, and you have a job that doesn't feel fulfilling to you. That's a really challenging position to be in because it can be a bit boxing. For something like kids, you can't change that. For something like a marriage, ideally you put in the effort to make it something that feels good to you, but that requires effort and that requires attention. If you're also going to a job, and we can just focus on the job, and you don't like it and it's exhausting, because doing something that you don't like every day is exhausting, you may find yourself in what feels like a loop or a spiral. And this is where my girlfriend is feeling she is at the moment. She's not, because she's a genius and she knows what she's got it. She's a queen. However, we all find ourselves in these positions where you give everything you've got to just doing the job because you have to do the job. And then you get home and you're exhausted and you're totally spent. And I just want to say that's so normal and that's so fine. If anyone watching this has been beating themselves up for feeling tired, please don't do that. You're a body and you have a finite amount of resources day for day, and you spend them, and then your body gets tired and it needs to be replenished. You don't get mad at your iPhone when it dies and you need to plug it in. So don't get mad at your body. It's so okay. And if you are working at something that is unsatisfying to you, you will get tired sooner, and it will feel like a different kind of fatigue, an extra layer of fatigue, because it's emotional. There are the things that we do that take energy, but they also give it. If you're in something that is unsatisfying to you, that is a net negative. That's a vampiric interaction. It's not giving you anything. So say you're in a situation like this, and you come home and you open a bottle of wine, or you pop the TV on, you crack a case of Oreos. You're going to pull something in, say, that's going to give you that immediate relief of like that first sip of wine, or that hit of sugar, or the funny, engaging, eye-catching quality of the show. But those things are also unfortunately draining you. You feel like they're giving you comfort in the moment, but they're also a net negative. Your system's going to feel slower. You'll feel hungover. Your sleep will be impacted by all of those things. Blue light, alcohol, sugar. I mean, I wish we lived in a world where those things don't have a negative impact on our body, but they just do. So if you're in a situation where you're unhappy in your daily life, in whatever way, job, just a general sense of lack of fulfillment, and you manage the fatigue that inevitably comes at the end of the day by self-medicating with something that isn't helpful, it is so hard to get out of the loop, because you set yourself up to exhaust yourself. It could just be as simple as staying up all night on Instagram, or it could be you accidentally had a whole bottle of wine. Like, whatever it is, if you're not recharging yourself in a healthy way, the ability to break out of that cycle is significantly impacted, and not non-existent, but majorly diminished. So basically what's happening is you're doing something all day long in sympathetic nervous system. So there's the parasympathetic and the sympathetic, and that sympathetic nervous system is the go mode. You're solving a problem at work, you're handling conflict within your family, you're dealing with things that need to be dealt with, you're in the car. A lot of us are also super caffeinated, and I'm going to make a video on caffeine pretty soon here, so stay tuned. But a lot of us are also really caffeinated, so you're just naturally activated. You've got adrenaline and cortisol coursing through your body. You're in traffic, and you're negotiating the grocery store, and you're negotiating getting gas. It's kind of an endless sympathetic loop, which causes burnout inevitably just on its own. Then when you get home, you're looking for parasympathetic. That's what you need to be in. That's your rest and digest mode. That's where you get to recharge and recuperate. And that is a place where your intuition can kick in. Your mental state is stronger and clearer, because your body is registering safety and the ability to relax. You start digesting better, you feel more ease, your shoulders drop, you feel less tension, your breaths are deeper, they're into your belly. There's a real shift. And that is what gives you the reboot of energy that allows you to go back into your sympathetic nervous system the next day and slay, because we do need to do it. Now, if you're using wine, TV, weed, your drug of choice, junk food, Instagram, social media, sunscreen to soothe you because you need soothing, you genuinely need it, do not be mad at yourself. You're not getting yourself into parasympathetic. You actually stay in sympathetic. So you're just frying your sweet, cute, amazing, adorable little self out. And you don't mean to. I feel sure so many people stuck in this loop, and I've been stuck in it. aren't trying to do ourselves any harm. We're literally like, please, my kingdom, for some relaxation. I just need to calm down. Now, the thing is, that's not going to do it. That's not going to calm you down. And if you want to calm down because you want to make a change in your life, you have to figure out what a successful way to activate your parasympathetic nervous system is. So I asked my friend, and you can do this with yourself right now if you are not happy in your current situation. What's your weekly schedule? What does your time look like? And she told me she works 5 days a week. She works, most of the day. And then she gets home and she has the weekends free. So I said, why don't you focus on when you're going to work, the mornings and the evenings, that's time for you. That's time for you to take deep care of yourself. And that looks like breath work, meditation, a walk, a nice cup of tea, some journaling, sleeping an extra hour, a yoga flow, going to the gym, having a coffee with a friend, something that is sweet, nourishing, caring, slow moving, intentional before you go into your marathon, basically, which is, or you could call it your sprint for the day, which is your work, the place that maybe you don't want to be, the thing that you are hopefully looking to change, but you can't change right at this moment. Because the goal here is not to rip something out and blow up the scenario and completely upend your life. Again, thinking out things in our 30s, 40s, 50s onward, it's different. Sometimes you do need to just make the change and switch it up. But a lot of the time, you want to approach this with intention and awareness and be mindful of how you shift and why you shift and where you're going. So you take that morning time for yourself and you get to the job, practice gratitude. This is key. Practice gratitude in your whole life because it's a longer process to make this change and you don't want to be miserable. Think about the things you like. Focus on the things that you like. Focus on the things that work. I promise you, if you start focusing on those things, more things will arise. You will find more. It's a domino effect. Your brain has a bias. It's seeking the things that you tell it to seek. So look for gratitude. Then when you get home, rest. That's meditation. That might be watching a movie, watching a show, maybe shifting your blue blockers on at 6 or 7 p.m. or 8 or 9, depending on your lifestyle. But making sure you're winding down your brain and your body, allowing melatonin, the sleep hormone that we have in our bodies, to start producing naturally, understanding, okay, it's time for bed. Getting those 7 to 9 to 10 hours, if you can do it, of sleep, massive recharge, digest, brain dump, brain drain. You need it. You need the sleep. Taking a bath, putting some Epsom salts in the bath, lighting a candle, lighting some incense. Not trying to solve any problems during the week, trying to recharge your body, trying to recharge your mind. If some ideas come to you, beautiful. Write them down in your journal. That's awesome. Take a note on your computer. If you feel energy and motivated to research something, or there's a new job you heard about, or maybe a friend is playing a show and you'd like to go see their band, but be mindful. Are you rested? Are you okay? Are you in a place where you're like, I'm setting myself up for success to not just live in front of my face and go get a drink because fuck it, today was so hard and I just need it. No. Are you in a position to set yourself up for that long-term shift where you don't have a day, where at the end of the day you're saying fuck it and you just go get a drink. You go get a drink because you want to and because it's going to be really fun. So on the weekends, this is your opportunity to set yourself up for success in the future. Think about, maybe it's Saturday, that you want to have a state of play where you start reconnecting with who you want to be in this world. What does that look like? What does he or she or they do? What is that day like? What is that week like? Where are you? What are the things around you? What do you see? And play with it. Just enjoy envisioning your ideal scenario. And this is your scenario, so you get to love it. You get to see what you want. And then Sunday, set yourself an opportunity to start cultivating that structure. So making decisions that will help you throughout the next same, say you take a 6-month or a year window to achieve this. Sundays, you can set yourself up for that week to start building out, okay, maybe next Saturday, now that I've structured this ideal life for myself, next Saturday, I exercise discipline, and instead of just going and doing whatever, I apply for a new job, or I go on a retreat and I do some more self-investigating, or I chip away at saving enough money to quit this job without a new one and build myself a safety net so that I can actually have some time and I'm not so burnt out in that time that I can't really do much except recuperate, and I can start looking for new jobs that way. The point I make here is, if you are taking care of yourself and if you are well, your agency comes online and you're much more aware of what you can do and what you're capable of achieving. If you are in burnout, if you're in overactive sympathetic, there's really not much you can do. It's like asking a car with no gas to drive up a mountain. It's not going to happen. And you can be mad at yourself and you can resist that. It's just the fact. It's just what it is. So sinking in to taking deep care of yourself and having discipline, reparenting yourself maybe, right? Saying no when you've been saying yes, because it's hard to say no. But guess what? It's also really hard to be stuck in a rut. And you'd rather have the good hard than the shitty hard that in another 5 or 10 years leaves you thinking, what happened to my life? What is going on? So I gave my friend these ideas. We started talking about, okay, what is it that you want? What is it that you see when you envision your dream life? And she said, I really don't know. It's been so long since I've felt connected to that part of myself because I've been doing this job and I've been trying to make things work that I don't know if I even really trust myself enough to share that. And that's something that can happen when we're disassociated from what feels like our purpose or our joy or our calling or our true selves in life. Sometimes those parts of us can go dormant. They're not very vocal because they're not used to being listened to. And you can break through that crust that can build between them and you and get back into dialogue with those parts of yourself, but it takes care and attention, and that's self-love. So I said, it's awesome just calling a friend and talking to a friend. That's an act of self-trust. That self-love and self-trust is activated when you show up for yourself, when you say, I'm not happy. I don't like how this is going. I want something to change, even though I don't know how. Yet I'm going to change it. And she said something that really struck me and gave me the whole idea for this video, which was, she said, I'm struggling with self-trust right now because I know that the part of me that I need to trust is in relationship with the part of me that made these choices that have put me in a position that I don't want to be in. And I just was like, girl, so well said. You're a genius. And that's it. That's really the thing, is that we are simultaneously, we're holding this dichotomy of being the one who rescues us, saves us, stands up for us, creates the reality that we want. Like we're our knight in shining armors. Like we're our Lara Crofts. We're our badasses coming to save us. And we are also the ones who made mistakes and messed up and put our foot in it and did it again when we said we weren't going to do it. And then we did it again. We are both of those entities. And the beauty is in holding that dichotomy and embracing that reality and knowing you will make mistakes. You'll make them. I make them. The particularly painful ones are the ones where it's like, dang it, I know better. Why am I doing this again? But that part of you that shows up, he, she, they, not going anywhere. That the fact that you have the part that messes up enables you to have the part that shows up for you. And that's such a beautiful relationship to have with yourself. And the more you can fortify that reparenting, that like, I'm here when we mess up, I'm here and I step in. And if we need to learn, we learn. And if we need to be firm, we are firm. And that's something that I've learned a lot in the past few years. Discipline is important. Self-discipline is important. Sometimes you need to be very firm with yourself. And that was new for me. And I benefit so much from those healthy boundaries that I set with myself, that intentionality, but not from a place of shame or aggression or fear, from a place of love. So that light, dark, that yin, yang, that we make a mistake and then we solve it, is a part of the dance of our life and how we move forward and grow forward. You can't have one without the other. And having that relationship is what builds that self-trust. So in summation, you can change something if you don't like it about your life. It's going to take time, and it's going to take patience, and it's going to take discipline, and it's going to take self-care and your parasympathetic nervous system. Make sure every opportunity that you get, you're activating that rest. You're activating the rest and digest. You're giving yourself the opportunity to recharge. You got it. Your relationship with yourself is the thing that is going to move you forward. Trust it. Be patient. And you can do what you want to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and I will see you back here tomorrow.